We hear about apartment fires in Montreal pretty often. Tenants are evacuated, then taken in by the Red Cross. But what happens next? What rights do tenants have after a fire? Well, in Quebec, it's complicated, except for one part. If the building is a total loss, the lease is terminated. You get back what you can from yours or your landlord's insurance, if coverage exists. But if the property can be repaired, that's where things aren't as simple. First off, it's important to remember that tenants do have the right to return to their apartment once the necessary repairs are finished. But in areas that are struggling with gentrification, housing advocates say these building fires are often used as an opportunity to rent-evict.
I think a fire can be very convenient for a property owner who's renting out units to people who've been there for a long time and who may pay lower rents than what the property owner would like.
How do you fight that? Well, one way for tenants to protect themselves is with a document called a notice of abandonment. It lists the date of the fire, the contact information for the tenant, and their intent to return to the unit once the repairs are finished. Tenants are not obliged to pay rent during this time. And most importantly, this notice makes it legally that much harder for a property owner to terminate the lease of a tenant. If the apartment is too damaged or unsafe for the tenant to live there, housing activists say people should send this formal notice to their landlord within 10 days of the fire. But most tenants don't know this.
So people are confused by this to begin with. Why am I sending a notice of abandonment to my landlord when I'm talking about returning? When you have a fire, obviously you're scrambling, you're looking for your Medicare card, like everything is up in the air, you're trying to arrange childcare, a place to stay, all of this, and then all of a sudden you have to write this legal document to your landlord, and you have to make sure that they receive it.
The next question is how long repairs may take. Quebec, an association that represents many Quebec landlords, says the time to rebuild depends on a number of factors, including the time to process insurance claims, technical assessments, permits, estimates, and contractor availability. Landlords are supposed to let tenants know when repairs will be completed, but if tenants feel like it's taking too long, they can ask Quebec's housing tribunal, the TAL, to intervene. Renters insurance can help here too. Quebec says if the tenant caused the fire, then they have to cover their own costs as well as the damage to the building. But if they haven't caused the fire, then they may be entitled to compensation, everything from temporary lodging to storage. But how much compensation isn't always clear. A lot depends on individual circumstances.
I worked for 8 years in the community sector. I've been working for close to a year in my own practice. There's not one case that's the same. So you can't really say, oh, this is what you do. This is the steps.
In some cases, the landlord may not have the money to cover the repairs. Usually, the building is sold. Some owners also convert apartments to undivided condos after a fire. While converting to traditional divided condos is restricted in Montreal to protect the rental stock, undivided, where owners own a share of a building rather than a unit, is not. In either case, ownership changes can't cause evictions. Existing leases stay valid, they transfer to new owners and must be honored. And one last case to cover. Given all the difficulties following a fire, waiting for repairs, keeping those leases valid, some tenants, they simply decide they don't want to come back. And in that case, if the tenant can afford it, they might want to consult a lawyer.
Oftentimes it's an opportunity to negotiate a settlement to turn the page. But for that settlement to be valid, you have to know what your rights really are.